Well, let's talk about this 5-track EP you released recently. Why don't you tell us about the musical content and also the unusual way that it was marketed?
Well, we only printed 300 copies. I wasn't sure how much I wanted to put into it, seeing it's only, an EP. It's 5 songs. One of them was a song that Christian and I wrote when we first started working together. One of them is a brand new song, and it's Ice Cream Submarine. And the other ones are songs that we had written on spec for film and TV supervisors, music supervisors, that never went anywhere. So we thought, well, fans will like this. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, they kind of do. So we put it out on a little EP, and it's quirky. It's very pop. I mean, again, being someone who doesn't stick in one genre, people are going to hear it and go, wait a minute, who's that? It's different.
So it's kind of like Misfits that needed a home.
You bet.
Yeah, and then, so the limited release, I mean, there's no downloads, and you said right from day one, there's this many CDs, get yours, and that's all there is. So
that's it. There's only going to be 3.
Because when I saw you promoting that, I thought, what? Not long ago, I mean, in fact, it was literally my birthday that you released Dumb Luck, August 1st of this year. I thought, why is she, putting something new up? And then I realized it was kind of a little specialty thing. Well, let's talk about your fans for a minute, because you and Christian don't have your average, ordinary, run-of-the-mill type fan base. I mean, your fans love you guys, deeply.
We love them. We love them. Maybe that's why. I mean, we feel so grateful for them, and I want to know them all by their first name. I can't, but we do know a lot of them personally. They come and see us at our shows. They send us their stories about what our music means to them, which is to me, that's one of the most beautiful things about doing music, is when somebody says, oh, that song, helped me with my work week, or that song helped me with my chemo treatment, or that song helped me after my best friend died. That means so much to me, and I encourage people to tell me that stuff if they want to, and it's been really neat because I get to hear those stories, and that to me is, that's one of the reasons why I make music, because I want to be able to put happiness in people's lives if possible, or to help express something that they themselves don't know how to express.
Well, the beauty of the computer age and the modern technology is people can act. I mean, I've got friends in Europe and South America and all over the place I can talk to anytime I want, and it's not like a cost-prohibitive long-distance phone call anymore. It's more like,
right.
Are they awake? That's their
Exactly.
only criteria.
Exactly.
In addition to your own Facebook page, there's also a Circe Link fan page that was created by some of your more ardent fans with your permission and approval. And even more compelling, why don't you tell us what happened with your recent Kickstarter campaign?
Oh my gosh! Well, I didn't know if we could get any money, honestly. So we thought maybe we could cover the cost of the printing of Dumb Luck. So we asked for $3,500, and within 8 hours, we more than doubled that goal. And by the end of the run, we raised over $17,000. So
you asked for $3,500, and your fans kicked in $17,000.
Yeah.
Now we're all jealous of fans like that. I mean, most crowdfunding campaigns don't see such immediate results, and if I was you, I'd be getting those guys to pay my rent. I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? They're just the most wonderful group of people, and really just showed us a kindness that I was just flabbergasted. I'm still, blown away by it, and we've been able to sock that money away, and we were able to not only print the record, but then we made some merch. And we're going to schedule a little tour and try and get out on the East Coast and see a few of those people as well. So it's unbelievable. And I think one of the things that we allowed our fans to have the relationship is to really know who we are. I mean, they don't need to know what I look like in the morning or what my favorite food is necessarily, but there used to be a bit of a gatekeeper feeling between the artist and the fan, and a mystique. And, a lot of our videos are just me and Christian sitting on the couch, or me and Christian in a hotel room. And we're just regular folks, just like them. And we make music and enjoy doing it. And there just seems to be that acceptance. It's a mutual appreciation for each other.
Well, now I want to single out another one of our many mutual friends. His name has come up on the show a few times before. I'm talking about our friend Ron Nelson. Ron contacted me to specifically request a Circe Link episode of the podcast. He sent me a link to the video of your version of the Beatles song Rain, so that would have been my first exposure to you. And then when I started snooping around on my own in the very earliest stages of my research, the track that really sold me on you as an artist was Falling on Knives from the Moody Girl CD. Because, it had all the elements I like best in music. It had the rich vocal harmonies, a memorable melody, very interesting lyrics, skillful production.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a pleasure for me to delve into your catalog and discover all these great tracks and to find out just how strong a writer you are, both on your own and in your collaborations.
Well, I definitely have Ron to thank for hooking that up, and that song in particular is really one of the favorites, not only amongst the fans but of the band. When I play with different musicians, they always want to know whether we're going to play that one or not. We don't do that song live very often, just because of the emotional content. So.
Yeah. Well, I heard it. I said, I think Ron's onto something here. Maybe I should do a podcast with Circe Link.
Yeah. Well, it's. I'm glad he found me and all of that. He's paid me some wonderful compliments. Saying that he doesn't usually listen to an artist the whole way through on a record, and that he can sit down and listen to one of our records the whole way through, and that resonates with me because I'm kind of the same. It's got to hit on all those spots that you just mentioned for me to really be able to sink into it and commit my time to it.
Yeah, and he's a real music fan too. He's an appreciative. He's not easily impressed. He knows what you guys doing is really quality. Speaking of which, I'm going to play a track now that I think gives a strong indication that you and Christian are coming close to writing actual standards at this point. I mean, this is a very classy sounding song called Dream On. There's a sort of a Julie London vibe to it, and I'm wondering how it came about.
I wrote it. I wrote the melody and the lyric. I didn't write any of the chords on that, and I took it to Christian, and we both knew that it was in that standard type format. And then we had our longtime collaborator, Michael Sherwood, come in and play the piano on it. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is in the bridge, we were thinking about strings, and Christian was working on mixing it, and he said, maybe we should bring in some strings. And I said, I don't know, that sounds like much. Why don't we just do it with vocals? Let's do that string idea. He was actually arranging for strings. I said, let's just do that with vocals.
Yeah, it's a nice
touch. And then it was so beautiful when we isolated it and listened to it by itself. We thought, wow, wouldn't that be cool just to use that as the intro for the song? And so that's how it ended up being the very beginning of the song.
Like the song we played earlier, You Are the Stars, it kind of sounds like something, I must have heard that before. Same thing with this one, I must have heard this before. It can't be a new song is the feeling I get when I hear it. So let's listen to it from her 2013 Dumb Luck CD. Here's a song that I think is good enough to be considered a standard that everyone should be covering. I'm talking to you, Tony Bennett. So see if you agree.
keep your chin up, kid, and dream on. I told the star the desire of my heart. The reply made me cry. It was dream on.
Well, move over, Aerosmith. There's a new Dream On in town. And well, that's a terrific performance, not only by you, but by everyone involved. You know, some very tasteful playing by the musicians. You mentioned, is it Michael Sherwood, the piano player?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michael Sherwood.
Really good. And if you take away the music and just view those lyrics as printed words, it's real poetry. So well done.
Thank you very much. Also, Ian Walker on bass is truly amazing, and Christopher Alice just adding just enough soup on there.
Yeah, well, I dig it. I mean, I hear that and I go, back in the day, Ella Fitzgerald and Julie London and Anita O'Day, they'd have been all over that song.
Yeah.
Well, with Dumb Luck, you've sort of returned to your original style, but you've also sort of progressed beyond it in some ways. And to my ears, overall, I think it might be the best work you've done so far. Would you agree with that?
I would, actually. Thanks for your vote of confidence on that. I totally agree. I think while the early stuff is charming and accidental in some respect, and now knowing so much more about writing and the process and how to blend inspiration and craft together really shows through that we made deliberate choices, and I think it's hit a stride for us in that particular cowboy jazz type sound that we go for. Mm-hmm.
Well, Dumb Luck is certainly a good starting point for listeners who are unfamiliar with your work until now. So I want to direct everyone to your website, which is circelink.com. That's CirceLink.com. Between the theme music group and the song requests you've accommodated as rewards for your investors, you have a ton of video content, which I encourage everyone to check out. Your website also has tour information. I know you guys put on a great live show, so I encourage everyone to check back frequently to see where you're playing. Some of the names you mentioned earlier, I noticed that you've had some sort of long-running supporting personnel on your albums, and do you try and make an effort to use the same players at the live gigs to sort of capture that authenticity of the recordings, or its availability? Or
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Christopher Allers, my drummer, he's been on every record except for Live in Japan, and there's a reason, because he's an incredible player.
Yeah.
Ian Walker is incredible upright player, and now we have two different bass players now. We have Ian Walker, who does upright, and then Jason Chesney, who does the bass. And I've been really fortunate that the first players I ever met in Los Angeles and started playing with when I did music, just happened to fall into music were world-class players. Stevie Black was one of the first people I worked with, and he had worked with Dan Hicks and the Hot Licks, or Dan Hicks, not the Hot Licks, but and these guys were great. I had no idea. I thought all musicians were of this caliber, and I just kept lucking out. Yeah, I got spoiled, but also I realized, like with Moody Girl and certain situations, if you hire the right people, all you got to do is get out of the way. They're going to do their best, and it's going to sound great.
Yeah, this is I've had a lot of guests on this show who are studio players, and I've spoken with them about this. Why get Lee Sklar or one of these people to come in and give them a piece of sheet music and tell them play that, because anybody could do it. It's like, let them contribute. I mean, that's
absolutely. And
they've said, you'd be surprised how many gigs they hire them because they just want their name. They give them something, and it's an adventure. It's hit and miss. But I'm with you. It's like, if that person can contribute anything unique, let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the beauty of collaboration comes in. I mean, certainly as arrangers and composers, when Christian and I are working on a song, we know what we want to hear as far as structure and maybe obviously melodic content. But, I'm not going to tell my drummer what to do. He's the drummer. That's his job. Hopefully he's going to say, I want to do this, and this is my expression of it. And that's the beautiful part.
Yeah, and with your type of stuff where it's, song-oriented, if somebody's playing something inappropriate, everybody knows. So often you don't even have to say anything, If somebody's overplaying or if something doesn't really fit, generally they don't really need to be told. Sometimes it's a matter of taste, Like on that Hit Me track, there's do we want to, process the guitar a certain way? You might try 3 or 4 things and just pick one you just happen to like best. It's not right or wrong. It's just preference.
Well, I will say that Christian is a pretty exceptional producer, and when he listens to a track, whether it's in demo form or just a guitar and a vocal, he's imagining the entire content. He understands what he wants to hear on the end side, including tones. And so that's a lot of that magic happens in the mixing process later, and that's something Christian and I really take a lot of time with and are very painstaking with, is the mixing process. So, getting the great players and allowing them to fly and excel at what they do, and then going into the studio later and really making sure that every little aspect of it is considered in the mixing process is part of the beauty.
Well, as we've all heard, your recordings sound great, so you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm a pretty lucky girl.
Well, Circe, I want to thank you for being my guest today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
No, it's been an honor being on the show with all the people that have been on your show. I'm tickled to have been invited. Thank you so much.
This podcast was recorded at Mojo Recording Studio in Phoenix, Arizona. It was engineered by Mike Post. Once again, I'd like to thank Circe Link, Christian Nesmith, Ron Nelson, and Heather Carter. We're going to go out now with yet another great track from Dumb Luck. This is another Circe Link, Christian Nesmith collaboration called Gettin' to Me. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.